Every single time I post an AI video, there's at least one comment that says something like, I stole this. And for a long time, I honestly didn't understand why that phrase felt so personal to people. And look, I get it. I make AI content for a living. So it'd be easy for me to just brush this off as people being resistant to change. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized this isn't just skepticism. Skepticism is, I'm not sure this works. What I'm talking about is something closer to grief or even betrayal. And if we actually want to understand where AI is heading and how to talk about it responsibly, we need to understand why that anger is so real for some people. Let's start with artists. A lot of image generation models were trained on massive datasets scraped from the internet, which means countless illustrators, painters, and designers had their work used to teach a machine their exact visual style without being asked and without being paid. So when someone spends 15 years developing a signature art style and then sees a stranger generate art in that style in 10 seconds for free, that's not an abstract technology debate to them. That's watching something they built their identity around get duplicated and handed out for nothing. Then there are writers. Authors have discovered their entire published books included in AI training datasets, sometimes pirated, sometimes scraped without clear consent, feeding models that can now write in a similar voice to theirs. Imagine spending years crafting your literary voice, only to find out a chatbot can now approximate it in a single prompt. And it's not just creative fields. Voice actors have seen their recorded voice work used to train synthetic voice models capable of replicating their exact tone, without a new contract, without new consent, for projects they never actually agreed to be part of. But here's the part that made me actually rethink this. The anger isn't really about the technology itself. If you ask most of these artists and writers directly, a lot of them aren't against AI as a concept. Some even use AI tools themselves. What they're actually angry about is consent, and being an afterthought in a decision that used their life's work as raw material. And that's the uncomfortable part for people like me who build AI content, because the industry has genuinely moved incredibly fast. New models, new capabilities, new tools every single month. But the legal and ethical frameworks around consent and compensation have not moved anywhere near that fast. So we're left in this strange gap where the technology is already here, already impressive, already useful, but the question of, was this actually fair to the people whose work made it possible, is still mostly unresolved. So the next time you see a comment like AI stole this, I don't think the right response is to argue that AI is amazing and they're just behind the times. I think the more honest response is, yeah, some of that anger is legitimate. And it's on all of us who use these tools to actually think about where the training data came from and to support the artists and creators whose work made this entire industry possible in the first place. Because if I make AI content for a living, and I don't at least acknowledge that, then I'm part of the problem I claim to understand. I'm Mai, and I'll catch you in the next one.